Welcome back to Reading Bear. Today, we will take a look at some new IDontWorkHereLady stories. And if you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comments. Let's go!
The first story is titled, Customer Calls Me on My Day Off. Expects me to provide service. So, I deliver sandwiches for a living, been doing it for almost 6 years now. Most of our customers order from businesses during lunchtime, and some of those businesses keep their doors locked. Usually, I end up calling them to come out to meet me. We do this for one of my regular-ish customers, we'll call him Winston. Winston is never happy with his service. Sometimes he calls in because we didn't put enough avocado on his sandwich. Sometimes he calls because the driver didn't show him the respect he deserves, which probably means they tried to make eye contact or something IDK. Sometimes the food just cost too much. The GM put a note on Winston's caller ID not to give him any credits or anything because we don't want to reward people for finding new and innovative ways to be annoyed. This has led to Winston generally being left unsatisfied when he tries to complain. I delivered to Winston this last Thursday, and as per usual, I called him and waited half an hour for the dried-up prune to make his way to the front door. Everything went fine, except the usual attitude problem. The fun didn't begin until Friday, which is my day off. I'm sitting in my pajamas, trying to find a song I had heard online a bit ago, when my phone rings. I answer it, and what do you know, it's the sound of Winston's mouth breathing. Me, hello? Winston, where's my food? Me, what? Winston, my food's late. Me, okay, I'm not working today, but you can call the store. Winston, of course you're working, you always deliver my food. Me, not on Fridays. This is where my patented okay method comes into play. Whenever I don't have anything to say, I just say okay. It's completely non-confrontational. It doesn't imply any deeper meaning. It doesn't imply that I will do anything for or against you. Winston, well, I ordered 35 minutes ago and my food isn't here yet. Me, okay. He waits for me to continue. I don't. Winston, when are you going to be here with my food? Me, I'm not going to be, am I? Because I don't work on Fridays. Winston, you don't get to disrespect me. Me, okay. Winston, I'm going to complain. Me, alright. He didn't respond immediately, so I just hung up and went back to looking for that song. Later, I got a text from one of my co-workers. Apparently, when he called in to complain about me, he threw such a hissy fit that he got blacklisted. One of the owners ended up taking the call and she didn't like his attitude. The next story is titled, Mistaken for Hospital Volunteer, Employee, Woman Tried to Physically Drag Me. I went to the hospital to get my medical records, have to prove I was in the emergency department because I missed class, and there are volunteers that answer questions and will walk you to places when you can't find them. They're usually late teens, early 20s, and usually it's only females with a few lads here and there. So I match what the majority of them are. They wear regular clothes with a red canvas long sleeve over top. All prevalent information, I swear. I went the day before and got taken to the medical records office, but it was closed, so when I came yesterday I knew where it was, so I was going to just walk there myself. I was wearing a red windbreaker raincoat that exactly matches the volunteer's long sleeve color. A woman stopped me and asked me where a ward was, I think maternity, and I informed her politely that I wasn't a volunteer and pointed her in the direction of the desk. She was really polite and said thank you. I took my jacket off so I wouldn't be asked again, realizing I could be mistaken for a volunteer. I'm walking along and hear a woman say, "Hey, where's room X?" I keep walking because I'm thinking she's talking to someone else. She grabs my arm and yells, "Excuse me. Where is room X?" I stood there kind of shocked because this woman in her, I think, 40s isn't letting go of my arm. She continues, "Just because you take your uniform off doesn't mean you ignore me. Do your job. Take me to my daughter's room." She tried to shove her bags into my hands too, which I promptly gave right back. I told her I didn't work or volunteer here and that the desk with the volunteers was around the corner, and I finally shook her hand off of me. Did that stop her? No. I said take me to her room. I didn't think they hired ducking idiots. I said I don't work here, please leave me alone. I turned around and started walking towards medical records again. She grabbed me again and we had basically the same exchange over and over, until finally an orderly asked what was going on. This ducking idiot won't help me get to my daughter. Who does the hiring here? They must know she's mental. Orderly, it doesn't look like she has an ID badge anywhere, and she doesn't have a uniform on. Which to me makes it seem like she doesn't work here. I can show you the way, but if you don't quiet down I'll have to call security to escort you out. Yes, she does. And she's going to do it. She started trying to drag me up the hallway while she's still screeching that I must do my job. I slipped because I was just in the hospital myself and tired, and she still tried to drag me. She started screaming, "Get up." She ended up dragging me about 8 to 10 meters before a security guard came running over. She was, I presume, escorted out of the hospital because that's the direction she was taken. I then walked to medical records and they're not even open. I waited to get walked to my car because the security guard wanted to make sure she didn't somehow find me in the parkade. I feel bad because her daughter might have been really ill. That can be awful and stressful, but that doesn't mean you get to treat people like that. Shout out to anyone that works in healthcare, you guys are superheroes. Definitely not wearing red today when I go back. The next story is titled, I Don't Work Here. I'm the bride. My husband and I recently celebrated our 28th wedding anniversary and were looking through our old photos, and one reminded me of this encounter. Hope you like it. We had a small wedding and a big evening reception for extended family and friends at a local hotel. As a thank you for my mother and newly minted mother-in-law, we bought them bouquets and the staff hid them in the bar stock room until we were ready for them. I got changed out of my dress and into something I could have fun in after the traditional first dance and dancing with my dad. Things were going well. I met a lot of new family members. The time came to get the flowers. The staff were busy but said I could walk behind the bar and get them myself. As I was headed to the storeroom, a man shouted, "Excuse me." I thought this was for the bar staff because I don't work here. Man, where do you think you are going? Me. Oh, to get the flowers. Man, well that can wait, I want stuff I can't remember. Me. Oh, sorry I can't do that. Man, why can't you just serve me? I've been here for ages. Me. I don't work here, I'm the bride, and you are. Man went quiet and red in the face. Turns out he worked in the same place as my husband and had tagged along with a group who actually were invited. But despite that, it was a wonderful day and we can still laugh together after 28 years. The next story is titled, Karen Insists She Doesn't Work Here. A little background, I have an almost 2-year-old who is a bit of a finicky eater, as many kids that age are. There's one brand of little, blueberry-flavored, heart-shaped rice puffs that he absolutely loves, and we use them as rewards for when he accomplishes something, like successfully using the potty or putting away his toys. Sometimes, we also give them to him just because we love him. He calls them puffs and practically chants it when he knows he's about to get some. It's pretty adorable, but I digress. Now, I'm a 6 feet 3 inches man and very broad-shouldered. I'm a pretty calm, pleasant person most of the time and try to make friends with everyone I meet, but I've been told that I'm intimidating just because of my size. I'm aware of this and try not to loom over people or throw my weight around, but sometimes people get skittish just because I'm there. So, anyway, I'm at the major chain grocery store after work picking up a few things that my wife asked me to grab on the way home. I remember that we're low on puffs and swing by the baby aisle to get some, even though my wife didn't ask for them specifically. Lo and behold, there's Karen in her smart business casual jacket with her overloaded cart standing right in front of the puffs. She's holding a box of baby oatmeal, reading the back of it. I calmly watch as she puts the box back, picks up another box of the same brand of the same powdered oatmeal, just a different size, and starts reading the. Again, I wait, but I'm standing there wondering what could possibly be different between the two. She then picks up the first box and starts comparing them. They're identical other than box size, and I'm tired of waiting for her. It's only been 2 or 3 minutes, which isn't that long, but I'm ready to get home to see my kid. So, I say, "Excuse me, ma'am. Could I?" Karen, without looking up, "I don't work here." Me, "Right, could I please?" "K," I said, "I don't effing work here." Except she says the word as she glares death at me. Me, "Yeah, I get that. I just need." K, get away from me. Just because I'm a woman doesn't mean I'm going to help some idiot man buy baby stuff. Me, "Look, I just want that cereal," I say as I point at the puffs on the shelf. K, "Don't touch me. I said I don't work here." Manager. I need a manager. Now, there was a nice older lady stocking shelves at the other end of the aisle. I've talked to her a few times over the past few months. She's always been really sweet and always tells me all about her grandson, who coincidentally has the same first and middle name that I do. She knows me, so I'm not worried when she heads over. She's not a manager, but being older, a lot of people assume she is. I'll call her W, for worker. W, "Is there a problem here?" K, "This man is harassing me." Me, sigh, "I just wanted to." K, "I don't care what you want. I won't be bullied." Turning to W, "I demand you have him thrown out. I won't put up with this." W, "Ma'am, can we please calm down? I'd like to." K, "Don't you tell ME to calm down. Here's the problem. To me, I said I don't work here. F. Ma'am, I can't help you if you don't calm down. Please, can. She turns her hands palms up in a pretty universal non-threatening position. K, don't you touch me. I'll call corporate. What's your name? I've been pretty irritated, but I haven't gotten mad until now. I worked customer service for a lot of years and am used to being treated poorly by seemingly insane people, so I've been trying to remain calm. Once she threatens to report the sweet old lady for just trying to defuse the situation, I get angry. Standing up straight, looming forward just slightly, and with my best semi-loud dad voice that I usually reserve for when my kid is about to do something that's going to get him seriously hurt, I say, "Me, lady. I just wanted to buy that cereal for my kid, and your cart is in the way. I know you don't work here. I'm not an idiot. I was just trying to ask if I could reach past you to get it." Karen goes completely pale and frankly looks like she's about to wet herself. She silently grabs her cart and scoots it back 2 or 3 feet. I smile and say in as calm and friendly of a manner as I can manage, "Thank you, ma'am." I grab the puffs, put them in my cart, and walk away. Me, have a nice evening. A few seconds of silence pass as I walk towards the registers, before I hear W say, "Ma'am, if you still need that number for corporate, I can get that for you." The next story is titled, Karen Mistakes Me for a Manager, So Does the Employee She's Abusing. I'm on my way to a meeting with customers, and I realize I have forgotten to bring along a pad. Popped into a store along the way, and as I'm scanning the shelves looking for a small pad, I notice Karen yelling at a young employee at the other end. Keep in mind that I'm just wearing a nice shirt, tie and slacks. Nothing to indicate that I work in that store, or anywhere else for that matter. I guess I made the mistake of looking her way for a second too long, because Karen immediately stormed over toward me. You're the manager here, you need to deal with your employees. Before I have a chance to correct her, she launches into a tirade about how worthless this poor kid was. She was swearing more than I do, and I swear like I was raised by Samuel L. Jackson. I glanced over at the employee, and he's white as a sheet and shaking. I looked at Karen and gave her my best manager speech about how I'm sorry she had a bad experience and that I would take care of the problem employee immediately. She proclaimed something along the lines of, "I would expect so," and walked away as fast as her cankles could manage. I walked over to the kid, who's still white and shaking. First words out of his mouth are, "Am I fired?" Turns out he had only worked there a couple of days. He honestly thought I was a manager too. I told him I didn't even work there, and that he should be wary of Karens in the wild. I have learned my lesson and will no longer go into that store wearing a tie. The next story is titled, I'm Not an Uber. I'm just walking. Was walking through my neighborhood just enjoying the beautiful weather when this lady comes out of her house and tells me she's trying to cancel her Uber and she doesn't need me anymore. I look at her and say, "That's great, but I'm not Uber and I don't even have a car." She looks around and just goes back into her house. The next story is titled, Another Department's Manager Doesn't Know My Name, Rages When I Don't Answer Her. When I was a teenager I worked in the general merchandise department of a major UK supermarket, i.e. TVs, CDs, homeware etc. Basically anything other than food, toiletries and cleaning stuff. This role meant I was trained to use the till, but the majority of my work was stocking shelves and recording stock in the warehouse. In this supermarket, as I'm sure is the case with most others, when things got busy the checkout manager would call over the tannoy to request help from all till trained staff, or specific staff members by name. When this happened you normally had to drop what you were doing to go and sit on the tills until the queues were reduced. One Saturday afternoon I heard a call over the tannoy for someone whose name was vaguely similar to mine, but not the same. Let's say Adam instead of Andrew, not my actual name. I paid no attention to it and continued working on my stock check in the warehouse. When I returned to the shop floor about 20 minutes later the checkout manager marches up to me and yells that she told me to come down and I have to do what she says. I told her I never heard her call me, at which point she says something along the lines of, "Don't lie Adam, you must have heard me." At this point it clicks that she doesn't know my name despite me having worked there for 6 months, regularly interacted with her, and had my name on her list of till-trained staff. So I calmly tell her my name is Andrew, not Adam. She doesn't accept this and we get into a bit of an argument where she is convinced my name is Adam and that I'm messing her around. I told her to check with the duty manager, my line manager or any of the supervisors in her team as I knew them all. I then walked off to resume my work. At age 17 it felt a bit dangerous to walk away from a manager who was having a go at you, but I was in the right and knew I could easily get one of the other managers on my side if she tried to punish me. I worked at that place for about a year after this incident, and at least once every couple of weeks I would hear Adam to the checkouts. I knew full well that she was asking for me, but never once answered the call out of principle, and when she inevitably had a go at me I inevitably told her she didn't ask for me. After a few months of this, she finally spoke to my manager about disciplining me, to which my manager obviously told her she had it wrong. She started using my actual name after that, but spoke to me like I was a piece of dirt every time she saw me. Gotta love it when vindictive, incompetent people get into small positions of power. The next story is titled, Till I'm a Lazy Millennial at the Ripe Old Age of 42. LTL, FTP, well, no. I've been here before. But as I've said before, I'm a bit of a storyteller, so my posts are never short. Want a TLDR? Your soul. Too busy? Then what are you doing on Reddit? My brother and I went to an amusement park last weekend. As bro and I are standing in front of a food stall near the picnic pavilions, discussing what we want to eat, a very large woman with the classic, "I want to speak to your manager" haircut, what is the deal with that haircut, and overly entitled women, pushing a big stroller with a bunch of bags but no kid in it, comes up to us to complain that the trash cans around one of the pavilions are full. Bro and I look at her, look at each other, look back at her. He was wearing these shorts and a grey t-shirt, and I wore khaki-colored capris and a turquoise t-shirt. Plain t-shirts with no lettering or picture, no name badges, no lanyards. Park employees wear shirts in various primary colors with the name of the park in bright yellow and name badges. "What do you want us to do about it?" asks my brother. "Well, I want you to empty the trash cans." She stomps her foot. I kid you not, this overgrown woman actually stomped her foot. "We don't work here," my brother tells her. "Of course you do, you're just lazy and don't want to get the trash. You young people are so lazy." Bro is 38, I'm 42. We definitely don't look like young people anymore. In fact, my brother is starting to get grey hair, haha, bro, not me. I wouldn't be too surprised if Stoller Lady was younger than both of us. "We don't work here." "Go talk to the food vendor, maybe they can call maintenance," I say. She tells me to shut up and shoves her stroller at me. I block it with my foot and it tips over, at which point she starts shrieking. Bro and I are kind of frozen for a moment. What just happened? Then a security guard comes over. After this I noticed there was usually a security guard near the food vendors, and we explain what happened. All the while Stroller Lady is yelling that we're lazy millennials, we could have killed her baby, and we don't want to do our jobs. The security guard gets a bit agitated for a moment, but a quick examination of the contents of the stroller reveals a complete lack of child. During all this hullabaloo, her husband shows up with the baby, who looks about 10 years old. WTF. Ms. Stroller is still crying and half-heartedly screaming while the security guard gets on his radio, and my brother and I just kind of hang around awkwardly. Two more security guards come running up, and the original guard informs Stroller Lady that, as she has now harassed other park guests 3 different times, she is being ejected from the park. Cue more screaming. Husband and baby look embarrassed. The first security guard asks me and bro if we're okay and if we'd go somewhere out of Stroller Lady's sight, as she's still pointing at us and screaming about millennials. He hands us a couple of vouchers for free food, score, and we skedaddle with the melodic strains of an entitled A Hole's screams in our ears. But apart from that, we had a really nice time. The next story is titled, Crazy Lady at Department Store Tries to Chase Me. A little bit of backstory: I used to live in Wisconsin, where snow can create slipping hazards in certain department stores. So, one Sunday night I'm headed home from church and I decide to stop by Walmart to pick up a large storage bin. Was getting ready to move, so wanted to be prepared. Anyway, I make my way over to the storage bin aisle trying to find the largest bin they had, when all of a sudden this rather large lady, let's call her Ol, huffs up to me, snaps her fingers saying I need to follow her and help her lift, insert whatever item she couldn't lift. Me, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't work here." Ol, huffing and puffing, "Well, obviously you work here because you're wearing a tie." I had a button-up shirt, tie, and khakis on because I had just gotten out of church. For some reason tie equals I work at Walmart. Me, "Nope, sorry, just got out of church, which is why I'm dressed up," which I thought sounded pretty reasonable. Lo and behold, I just opened up the gates of hell and Satan himself was about to grace me with his presence. "Ol, I don't give a duck where you came from. All I want from you is to lift my damn whatever item she needed into my damn cart. Now get your ass over here before I get your manager and have your ass fired." I'm a pretty laid-back guy, but at this point I snapped back at her. "Me, idiot. I do not work here. Now leave me the hell alone and let me find my bin in peace." At this point I grabbed the largest bin I saw, not heavy but rather awkward to carry, and head to the checkout line when I see Ol following behind me, still yelling obscenities and saying she's gonna have my ass fired. I'm a good 20 to 25 feet away from her, but she picks up speed and narrows the gap. She's honing in on me like a cheetah about to take down its prey. I was honestly concerned at what she'd do if she caught up to me. By now we've already gained a few prying eyes wondering what the hell all the commotion is about, and I'm looking around for an actual manager or employee to help me. At this point I'm about ready to drop my storage bin and make a run for the exit, when all of a sudden a miracle happened. Remember how I said it snows a lot where I'm from and creates slipping hazards? Well, I was going a little too fast and slipped on a puddle, and she fell hard. I guarantee the impact would have registered on the Richter scale. The sound that escaped her lips when she hit the ground was a cross between a moose bellow and a humpback whale mating call. The sound still haunts my dreams occasionally. Now, I'm not totally heartless, so I slowly walk up to her but still keep my distance since she was ready to rip my head off 10 seconds ago. Me, are you alright? Do you want me to help you up? I looked into her eyes and all I saw was pure evil. Satan himself would have shuddered at the glare I received. "I'll get the duck away from me, you piece of crap. You shoved me." Screaming and crying at the top of her lungs, several other people had gathered and finally several employees. She eventually gets helped up, she's still crying and says she's gonna sue me for pushing her. Luckily for me, several other customers saw the whole debacle and said she slipped on a puddle, plus there were several caution, wet floor signs. A manager comes over and speaks with me and Al says she's gonna sue the store for having wet floors and that she wants me fired for ignoring the customer and making her run on the wet floor in the first place. Cue to me still holding my large bin. Manager, he doesn't work here, also we have wet floor signs posted. Me, I just want to buy my bin and get out of here. This lady has been harassing me. Al, blubbering and obviously embarrassed, well, someone better help me then. Some employee helps her and manager apologies to me. I go and buy my bin and leave. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.